Hey, this video about Iran first was recorded before the war, right? And secondly, was our attempt to introduce students in Social 19 to life in Iran, the culture, social life, and the volunteers, two international students studying at Penn State from Iran, and one who is studying there but emigrated a few years ago. I asked them to just talk about life. We didn't want to get deep into politics and the government and all of that. If you wanted that kind of analysis, then you can get it somewhere else, but that's not what this was. So anyway, keep that in mind as you're watching.
Here are some headlines. I just pulled these off. The ones on the bottom are actually from an Indian newspaper website. Here's this TV host, Levin calls Iran a concentration camp. When you see stuff like that, do you just roll your eyes?
I'd be like, politics is politics no matter where you go. It's just a different direction depending on where you are.
But then on my side, because I'm a little bit more proud or whatever you would call it, I'm like one of those Iranians that if you say something bad about Iran, I will be coming murdering you.
Yeah.
Zero
really
logic
angry
about that in my opinion. So I would actually get very like I didn't even look at this right now. Like I tried to look at people because it would really piss me off, and everything has to be good.
Well, given what you're saying, I could see how it would be really unsettling, to see. So Iran dares Trump in final warning, and Trump dares Iran, and it's just like, nothing will be left. Trump warns Iran. Nothing will be left. What does that mean?
See, the thing is, you see this, and then we also read Farsi. So if you look at the Iranian news, it's like, oh yeah, this is funny. They say this, and then the Iranian news says the exact opposite in Farsi. I'm just like, oh, okay, this is funny. So to me, it's just funny. What do you mean
they say the exact opposite?
So if, let's say, Trump is threatening the Iranian, Ayatollah, on Iranian state TV, Iranian Ayatollah is threatening him. So it's like
you got to take the average. Like you see both sides, and the truth is like the average.
And they're gonna be like, oh, they can't do anything. This is all stuff that they want to convince themselves that they have power.
It's just like here, right? But when you see this stuff, you guys must. But your family.
Are we kind of used to it? I would say a very small percentage of the news that we see is actually true. I don't know. For me, it's oh, okay. Just one of those headlines. It's
so you're used to it. So here we have this idea of fake news.
Yeah.
And in Iran, people have this idea of Iranians have a fake news.
Most of them, yeah.
Huh. Okay, but this, how are you doing though? Just the three of you. You have family there. So how are you doing with this is build up to war. It seems very possible that we're going to be dropping more bombs in Iran. How are you?
I personally have all my family there, my parents, my sister, everybody, because I'm an international. I do have family here, but I'm an international student. So if you ask me personally, I'm actually going through it because of everything's that happening. I'm very much worried about everything's that happening, but also the things I see here in the news is much different than what is actually happening. But for your question, all I can say that I'm actually very worried because I can see I can talk to my mom and the little things that they mention, doesn't matter this or the prices of food, all of those stuff. Not to say, but I'm just saying, not for my family or any other things, but an average life for every other people, most people maybe that are going through it. So it is pretty concerning.
Yeah, I'm going to be a little more direct. I think my experience has been the first time that you come here and it happens, it really hits you really hard. And then when you're here for a couple of years and this happens every 6 months, the thing that I learned is that life here doesn't stop and people can feel sorry for me and they can understand, but I still have to live my life. And the thing that at some point my parents told me, because I used to completely break down, was that we've lived through situations like this all our lives and you have to trust us that we know how to take care of ourselves. And I think the worst of it was during the summer, when there was a period of a week when I was completely not able to contact them. And it was the same week that I had to go to a international conference and present my research. And my parents are refusing to leave Tehran, and my brother is at a military facility because he was doing his mandatory military service. And all I had to do was that I'm going to trust them, that they know how to take care of themselves and they're going to be okay. And I will talk to them eventually. And if the worst comes to pass, I will deal with it. I will address it once it happens. But I just don't let my mind go to the worst case scenario, because that is just going to destroy me. So that's how I approach it. But yeah, it's not fun every single time that this happens. You're wondering, well, am I going to have all of my family and friends still after this is over, or is somebody going to be missing?
Yeah. Yeah, man. I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I talked to a few of my friends too, like that live in Iran, like right now, a few days ago. It's just like most people are like kind of numb. Like there's a possible chance of war, but like at the same time they're just doing their own things, and they're like, it's kind of like a lose-lose situation. Like if it happens, it's gonna be bad. If it doesn't happen, it's gonna be bad. Like they're kind of numb, you know.
Yeah. Life just moves on.
Yeah, and like
thing.
The only thing they have is right now. They don't know what's going to happen in the future. They're just going to enjoy it, you know.
Yeah. Have you guys seen this photo?
That's kind of close to where I live. So I used to cross that square. That's the Valley Asr Square. It's a pretty big place, and it was close to my university. It's close to where we live. A couple of buildings actually from that side is where my mom works. So yeah, definitely.
So, and I see that in the English version of that is, if you sow the wind, you will reap the whirlwind. So that's one of these kind of Iranian threats toward kind of got to pump up. And I just want to note that none of those women are not covered, by the way. Just want to point that out. This is the kind of stuff that people see, in that they won't go past the headlines. But now go forward. Here's this article from Foreign Affairs. And Foreign Affairs is one of the kind of premier foreign policy journals in the United States that's meant for average people, not just people in the State Department. So, but, Iran and the limits of American power. I mean, really a very interesting and thoughtful assessment of what's going on in Iran. But this is the kind of thing that most of us here won't read. We won't find that article, and we won't read it, and we won't think through it. We'll see those clickbait headlines, and then we'll just stick with those. But this is actually a really kind of a thoughtful analysis by this guy. These are scenes that we see. What do we see, right? We see all the women on the left. We're all covered, all very religious. We see that. Those are the pieces of Iran that we like to show. We see the Ayatollah. What's his name? Ali Khamenei?
Ali Khamenei, yeah.
Khamenei. Okay, so he's your supreme leader, right? And there's I think in the lower left is the president was giving a talk, and that's actually they're on stage, and the woman is signing too. It's just sort of like this universal things that we all have in common. The president is speaking to the Congress, I suppose, probably. I don't know who he's speaking to actually, because I didn't see that, but it's being broadcast, and there's somebody signing. So I just want to hold that. There's just something about that just grabbed me. And then we see this image of somebody burning a flag. Okay? So those are the things that we get. All right, so now I want to watch this video. And tell us where this video is.
Actually, that is close where I live. It's called Ferishte.
That's Ferishte.
It's in District 1. And it's because everything's kind of illegal in there, I would say. So we try to do hangouts, guys and girls, go to cafes, smoke hookah and all that. So that one of the cafes that's showing in that video, it's going to be one of those cafes, but it's early in the morning or afternoon, I would say.
by the way, these are women in the 70s at that period of when.
That is at the university that I studied in my undergrad.
Oh,
It's at the
really?
University of Tehran, yeah.
Okay, all right. So here's one of these videos, right? Come on, how come no one's covered, man? Why aren't the women covered?
This is a very new thing. It was not like this the year that I left. It happened right after the 2022 Women Life Freedom Movement, and you will see this level only in Tehran. And I think at some point the morality police just gave up because.
Wait, they just gave up.
Yeah, because the moments that when it got to the point when if they approached a woman who wasn't covered, they would be attacked, and they were smaller in numbers. So in Tehran, they stopped bothering the women, but in other cities, it's not like that.
Yeah, because I think they're a little bit scared in Tehran because we're like a little bit of a stubborn society, I would say. So if we want something, we're just not going to stop. And I think they're a little bit scared, so they just stopped it. But I know some of my friends in like other cities, they are like this. I'm not saying they will be like exactly like this, but they would put their like scarves and everything on their shoulders. They would still like the things that we'll wear to like cover their body will be till like here, not like this, that's not fully there, but they're going through it. Like they will probably in like a couple of years.
I want to say even 2 years ago when I visited home, it was not to that level. So they still had to have the hijabs, at least like the girls would have it around their necks, but it had gotten kind of to the point that they were not wearing long dresses anymore. And also depends on where you are. So fun thing about Iran is that in Tehran, depending on where you are in the city, you're going to be dealing with less or more morality police, and also depends on whatever is going on in the society.
Got you. Okay, so the morality police, Dr. Silver, this is for you, right? The morality police are people that are going around just watching and making sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, like not putting special things in their hookah, for example. Right?
Also, this isn't just for women. It's like back, I don't know, maybe 6 years ago, like men like couldn't even wear shorts and stuff. Like,
yeah,
it's just funny.
Yeah, no, same. Like in the Khaliji region, right, in Gulf countries, similar. Like I wear long sleeves. My wife wouldn't walk around with sleeveless shirts, kind of thing. If she did, she got called out a couple times, man. She was wearing sleeveless shirts, and I'm like, all right,
Right now, probably I wouldn't go to jail or die, but if you would say like 5-6 years ago, if I wanted to walk like this, I would just, like literally the morality police would get me.
So it would be a problem.
It would be a very huge problem.
Yeah, I have a very good case of this 2 weeks ago before the Women Life Freedom Movement was when I came to the U.S. and me and my friends were hanging out because they knew that I was going to come here, and it was like a group of three girls, and then 2 or 3 of my guy friends, and we were like friends from the university. And so we were sitting in we weren't really doing anything. We were just sitting on the grass in a park, just chatting. And that was the area where we knew that the morality police was going to be there. Fun fact.
Wait, hang on. Morality police, okay?
Yeah.
You speak faster.
Sorry,
than I do.
morality police. Yeah,
okay.
So we knew that they were going to be there because there had been reports, and we have this app that we know where they are in the city.
Wait, there's an app?
It's like the app they built for ICE.
Yeah, we just like tell our people, you gotta be careful where you're going.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on. If I'm going out, I can like jump on the app and be like, all right, listen, I'm good. I can take.
Yeah, it's called Gershad.
Yeah?
Yeah,
So
you can look it up.
And the government knows about it, but whatever.
You know, like in Waze, it shows you where the police is.
Yeah.
When you're driving. It's
in
like
Waze.
it's like
It's kind of like that. And then, we were just hanging out, and then the morality police came, and we knew that they were going to be in the area. So I was just like, guys, maybe we shouldn't be sitting here. And I had my full hijab, and I had like a dress. And then my 2 friends, they had their scarves around their shoulders. And so the police actually did come to take us in, and I was really scared because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm leaving the country. I don't want to have a record because what if they stop me from leaving? And then at the time, one of my guy friends, he was doing his mandatory military service, and he happened to have been stationed at the city police. So he knew the guy above the guy who came to take us in. And so they had a chat, and he told my friend to like take all of us and leave that entire area, because they were gonna like sit in their van and they were gonna do like a loop, and if they came back and we were there, they would take us in. And so we just left that district altogether.
It's like on what she's saying in Iran, it's a really big thing. Connections, it's a really big thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but like in a smaller scale, like you can pay off a police officer if you get pulled over. Like we just give them a gift and they're gone.
I used to have that when I lived in Mexico. I always just kept a certain number of pesos, like $10 worth of pesos with my passport. So when I got stopped, I would just give them the passport and give them the pesos. If I went to Iran, to Tehran, and I wanted beer, can I get it?
It's gotten way easier. Like I know my friends that like drink, and like this wasn't as often, like maybe 5 years ago, but it's just getting like easier
so if
to
I want
access.
a bottle of whiskey, like
you can find everything. Yeah.
You can find everything, but I will say it's illegal.
Yeah.
So if they catch you, that is very, very bad. And I will also say, because there is no regulation and a lot of stuff is homemade, you want to be extremely careful. So that's a pretty common, like you can find alcohol, but again, it is illegal, so it's going to be expensive, and your best bet is just to get bottles that you're 100% sure they haven't been opened.
Yeah, it's very dangerous. Like people go blind because they get.
Yeah, I also want to add something to that. I don't know if they know or not, but there are specific cafes where I live, at least, that aren't cafes to start with. They're not cafes that everybody here is imagining. They're like more like
a
bars.
lounge.
Yeah, stuff like that. But you can like find alcohol if you know the person, like,
Got you.
and like they will be like, oh yeah.
It's true around the world. You can only police people to the degree to which they're willing to be policed. I mean, that's just how this stuff goes.
As I remember, all three of you either are from or lived for a significant amount of time in Tehran. So do you notice a big difference between Tehran and the rest of the country, or like other big cities?
I would say yes. Again, it depends what side of Tehran are we talking about. But I would say that they're working on Tehran way more than they're working on the other cities and the other parts of the country. But it really also depends what city in the country we're talking about. They focus more, like you would say, like the other cities that are more important, like art-wise, like what important things we have in there, tourist-wise. They would focus more on that, so it will be closer to Tehran compared to the other sides of the country, other parts of the country. So, but they're trying in general to make it more like Tehran, like more modern, or like rules and other stuff.
How are religious minorities treated in Iran?
By the people or the government?
By the people.
Because of the way that the government approaches it, I think there is not a lot of conversation between religious groups, because in Iran, if you're not Muslim, you're not allowed to, advertise your religion. So they tend to keep to themselves. But typically, they've been like we're all fine with each other. I don't think there is any problematic perspectives towards like if you're Iranian Jew or if you're Iranian Muslim Sunni or if you're Zoroastrian, but they do not welcome people into their prayer times.
Got you.